morning. I'm Mindy Tate, Executive Director of Franklin Morrow, and welcome to Frank Talks, which is networking lessons learned from a pandemic. In case you're wondering, it's Monday, August 9th. Some days I'm wondering what day it is, but it is Monday, August 9th. And welcome this morning. Who got a kid off to school this morning? I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Yay, yay. I'm very proud of anyone who accomplished that, whether they are happy about it or not, I guess. We are on Facebook Live. If you want to share it to your page and encourage people to get to learn these lessons that we're going to talk about today, you can do that. We're live on Facebook on Franklin tomorrow, I believe. I'm going to introduce Patrick Baggett, who is our Franklin Morrow Board President, and he's going to introduce our partners.
Excellent. Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you to this wonderful facility here on the eastern flank, Battlefield Park. Thank you City of Franklin for videoing and doing some of the AV items. But we want to thank today Franklin Tomorrow that sponsors these, or that puts on these events. We provide these free of charge because of some really important partners. And we provide these forums, breakfast with the mayors, along with other events, again at no charge, and then also online because of these two partners today for Frank Talks. Williamson Medical Center is a presenting partner and such a critical partner to the community, but also Franklin Tomorrow. We appreciate the folks at Williamson Medical Center, and I don't see anyone here today. They're normally here. Nicole Volk is on our board. We appreciate them very much.
They're a little busy right now.
Yeah, they are. They are busy.
A little busy again.
They are. And then we'd like to thank our friends at Renaissance Bank. Downtown, across from the police station, is the Franklin branch, and then have someone from our the Cool Springs branch or over on Carruthers here today. So we want to introduce, I'm sorry? Tina. And we'd like to introduce Tony and Harrison and Tina, and Diane is here as well, LeBlanc, to say a few words. Thank you, Renaissance Bank.
Good morning. Good to see everybody here this morning. Thanks for showing up, and we're always a pleasure to be part of this event. And as we said, Diane, who is one of the board members with the Franklin Tomorrow, Harrison Crabtree, our county president, Tina's our manager at the Williams County branch, Carruthers. So we have a video. Hopefully it works. We're running on my cell phone's Wi-Fi. We'll see how that does. We're not going to try to sell you a bunch of products. Just show you a really funny video. We have I know we have a lot of transplants here, if you will, probably from other states. So anybody here an SEC fan? All right.
What does that mean anymore, to be an SEC fan?
It's a little different.
It's different, and it's growing and different.
So any Texas or any Texas fans here? Longhorn fans?
I like them.
I like it. How about any Boomer Sooners here? We got one Boomer, two Boomers. Okay, all right. So we're gonna show you a little bit. If you've never seen SEC shorts, it's an amazing group of guys that came out. We do sponsorship for them, and they always have funny videos every Sunday, especially after college football is over. You'll see the new one, so I'm going to show you the latest one. Hopefully it works here, and we'll let it roll.
Let's see.
Welcome to the SEC. Please check your pockets and empty them out of all binding TV rights contracts, unequal pay distribution models, and 70-0 wishbone playbooks, and put them in the tray in front of you.
I think I'm good.
Okay, come on. All right, come on. Welcome to the SEC. Your It Just Means More banner will be mailed to you. Please follow the signs to claim your blowout loss to Alabama. Next. Whoa, sir. That's a lot of baggage. All right, step forward through the scanner. Sir, please empty your front left jacket pocket. Sir, poorly performing school-specific broadcast networks are strictly forbidden in the SEC. Please use the trash can beside you.
I mean, could you make an exception? It's kind of been in my family for about 10 years now, ever since we took that national sports broadcast company to the cleaners. Okay.
All right, step forward through the scanner. Sir, please check your pockets for any knives, needles, or expectations of wielding Big 12 levels of domineering influence.
Nope, I got nothing.
All right, step forward through the scanner.
Come on, this is ridiculous. I can do this all day. Guess I'm gonna have to take my shoes off next. Well, with which hand would I do that, sir? With which hand?
This episode of SEC Shorts is brought to you by Renaissance Bank, the bank that understands you. Learn more at renaissancebank.com.
So, just a couple things before we get started, and thanks, our audience is growing on Facebook. That's a nice thing. We really like having that. So, how many people have been in a group this size for a meeting like this so far? In the last month? Okay, great. Feeling good. We're hearing some things about numbers and how things are changing, and but we're all kind of, I think, also ready to get back out there. I sometimes wonder if my network survived the pandemic. I'm not sure some days whether my network of friends and people and associates survived the pandemic. But one relationship that always survives is my relationship with Deb Farallo. And if you don't know Deb, that's pretty surprising, because I think she knows everyone in Middle Tennessee, quite honestly. But Deb is the president and founder of Farallo Public Relations, and she does a lot of work in a lot of different arenas, but she is also so involved in the community in Middle Tennessee, whether that's through Leadership Middle Tennessee or other programs that she's been active in and supported. But one of the things that I can say is that she taught me some great lessons about, as a younger person, how about that, about determining the difference between have to, should, and need to. Sometimes you have to do something, sometimes you need to do something, and sometimes you should do something for the betterment of, but you have to make those decisions yourself. But Deb, I'm not gonna, if I introduced you, that would take 20 minutes, if I read your bio. But I do think that one of the things that she brings, and she has worked with Franklin Amaro in the past on our programs like On the Table and some of our other initiatives, and advised us in situations when we were undertaking new initiatives or perhaps dealing with the outcome of other initiatives. Does that say crisis management? Okay, stop talking about crisis management. She's advised us, and she is known throughout Middle Tennessee for her connections and her ability to make connections. And today, she's going to help everybody in this room make connections. And I will introduce my friend Deb Farallo.
Thank you. So I'm going to get started by set up my room, the setup a little bit. I don't stay next to the podium, so can you hear me if I don't use the mic? Okay, just want to make sure, because I want to share with you a couple of things. First of all, Mindy, I've already given Mindy her cookies. I said, thank you, Mindy. I gave her some Girl Scout cookies, and they've already put them in her box back there. So I have some prizes today, so you have to pay close attention. And what they are Girl Scout cookies. Let me tell you just a little thing about Girl Scouts. Whenever a Girl Scout asks me to buy cookies, I buy a case. Because I want to make it worth their while to show up. That's because to Boy Scouts, you could pay the same amount almost for that little can, big can of the little bit of popcorn that's inside of it, right? And it only lasts for one person. Girl Scouts has 12 boxes. So I buy a case and then I give them away. So Tina, thank you for Renaissance Bank for being a sponsor. We appreciate it. And if the medical center was here, we'd give them one. Lindsay Medical Center or not. So I'm going to give this. Lindsay, are you here? Are you here? Lisa, it's good to see you. I'm walking. So Lindsay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So now I want to give this one away because we have people that have wisdom. We need to recognize them. So I'm going to give this box of cookies away to the most seasoned person in the room, like the oldest. So who is the oldest person in the room? Who would like to admit it and get a box of Girl Scout cookies?
Nobody wants to get it.
Mr. Linden, how old are you?
I am going on 85.
Going on 80, does anybody beat Mr. Linden? Going on 85? Well, you are going to have a lot. So, Mr. Linden is the one, if you haven't gotten one of his thank you notes, you will, because he is just an outstanding individual, and he still hand writes thank you notes. That's kind of one of my pet peeves about it. If I wrote a message to somebody handwritten, they'd never be able to read it, and it would take me a week, so I do the email thank you on it, so I appreciate that. So I've got a couple of handouts I want to give you. I'm going to have some assistance from the Renaissance folk. They're going to pass these out. They're your personalized handout. Thank you very much. I'm going to take one. All right? Okay. So, if you'll notice, as you're getting this handout, there is a sun. There is a sun, a bright, shining sun, right underneath the title of Networking Lessons from a Pandemic. So, my handouts through the years, it's funny, I got a call from a CPA firm, because we work with a lot of firms, to try to help their staff network. And I got a call from a CPA firm who's had me present to them in the last 20 years. About every 5 years, I go back and present to their new people about networking, about building their database, about what's going on. And we had this discussion last week, and the same stuff we talked about last week is what we talked about 20 years ago on networking, on customer service. It hasn't changed a whole lot. The pandemic changed a little bit of it, but we're going to address both pandemic and also just what you need to know. When your mother told you that you need to make your bed every morning, it took 20 years of her telling you that, and you still don't make it every day, do you? Right, you don't. So I'm telling you things you've heard. I'm reminding you things you should know, and I help you implement some of these items or just strengthen what you've already been doing. Son, attitude. Attitude. It's all about when you walk in here and you have the attitude for it. I used to be at a building downtown in Nashville, and I now have worked with a lot of attorneys. I have a great time working with attorneys. And so one day I was over at the National Bar Association walking down the hallway because they were located at that time next to us, and this woman came out, her name is Linda, and Linda came out. Linda, how are you doing? I'm okay. It's Wednesday. The week is almost over. That was every week. Every week. Her attitude was horrendous. All right, Kurt, she was not an attorney. But every week, that's how she was. Your attitude makes a difference. If you are with a bunch of people and you've got a very ugly face on yourself, why would anyone want to be next to you? Why do they want to talk to you? When I was downtown and I'd be walking through, I'd go out the back way of our building, go through the little alleys, and I'd go to my appointment carrying books. I'm concentrating. So I've got these frown marks, and one day a homeless guy said to me, "It's not that bad." Oh my gosh, my face was telling everything. So it has to be your attitude when you walk in. Do you know I was out front helping? And it was so much fun to meet all the folks coming in. What a great thing. If you ever want to meet a whole bunch of people, just take over signing people in. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, maintain nimbleness. During the pandemic, oh my God, we're not over. I'm doing a presentation next month, and it's called "The Pandemic Isn't Over and Neither is Networking." Because the pandemic is still here with us. So we have to think about what you need to do now when you've got to make sure that you're meeting people. Have you noticed when you do Zoom meetings or WebEx or what is the other one, Teams? We are looking at black screens now. Nobody wants to let anybody see themselves. And I think that is an insult to the people who are hosting or the person who is speaking. I think you better get online and let people know you're with them while you're with them. Because too often, you decided to turn the screen off, turn off the mute, and no one is seeing you. So you're doing 20 other things when you should be doing what you're supposed to be doing there. There are a couple companies now that are saying, I'm requiring you to have your screen on, have the audio on, and I want to see your video. Because they want to know, since they are, basically some of the employers are paying you to be there, you better be working for them. Don't give the excuse, well, I've had a bad hair day, okay, haven't put my makeup on yet, I didn't wear a shirt. Okay, a shirt, I'm sorry, a coat. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would get people's attention. So to make sure, another thing is to dress for a meeting. People are not dressing for meetings. And you're looking at some of these folks going, do they not know they're working? Do they not know they're meeting important people? Important people are people you don't know. Important people are people you've known forever, and you're giving them respect. So give people respect. And on Zoom meetings, don't talk too much, don't talk too little. Let people know. Do a little bit of chat. Because when you're at a webinar and nobody can see you anyway, then what I do is I always do a chat, and I go into the chat and welcome everyone and say it's great to see y'all, just so they'll know I'm there. Because there may be 120 people on there, and they don't get the chance to see you via the webinar. So let people know that you're on there. Collect AHAs. Do you know what AHAs are? Man, what are AHAs?
Big ideas, big
ideas. That's true. What else is it? AHAs. What is it?
Catching someone doing something great.
That also.
Listen.
You know what else it is? Oh, I need my mic because
really
of the TV.
did.
I'm sorry. Okay, I need my mic because of the TV, and then I have to be careful how I stretch my arms on it. So the AHAs are, let me see. How do you pronounce your name? Yes. Your first name?
Dr. Yug.
Yug, come here. You are my person. I went up front. So this is a AHA. AHA. Hi, I'm Deb.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right, put your pen in the other hand. That's it. Have a hand free so we can shake hands. All right? Can you hold your pen? All right, so we have a hand free so we can meet each other. So I'm sitting here and I'm meeting Yug.
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 Yeah.
I'm meeting Yug. Now remember, I've asked how he pronounced his first name. He already told me up front and I've already forgotten. And I've asked him. And you need to know how to pronounce someone's name when you're talking with them. That's an AHA. You just got the name right. So tell me, how long have you lived here?
13 years.
13 years, and where are you from originally?
I'm from Nepal.
Nepal.
Yeah.
My brother was a missionary over there.
Okay.
In
Nice
Nepal,
to meet
India,
you.
yeah. Okay, so I have aha moments here. I am finding out what's going on. It is grand, because I didn't know that before. So you have to ask questions. So I always say, ahas, all I want to do is ask questions. Thank you, I appreciate it. I was on a plane recently, and one thing that I like to do when I fly is be left alone. I like to sit in my seat and not talk to anyone. And one time, I was coming out of Washington, and this gentleman was talking to me, and he was wanting to talk, and I didn't, but of course I profess collect ahas. So I started asking him questions and kept asking him questions, and I was learning so much about him, and I was asking more questions. So before I knew it, the flight was over. We had arrived in Nashville. He looked at me and he said, "Oh my gosh, you are amazing. I really enjoyed meeting you." He didn't know anything about me, right? He knew nothing about me, but I knew so much about him. Another time recently, Pinewood Social in Nashville is one of the places I like to go for breakfast because it's easy to get to and free parking, and I can get there at 7 in the morning for meetings. And I had a meeting with a gentleman, and we sat and talked, and I didn't know him. He had asked for the meeting, had lots of questions that I asked him. And when it was all over, he said to me, "I really enjoyed meeting you. I have learned so much." He never asked me a question. But I made him feel good. So the ahas are making people feel good and finding out about other people. And then when I go back to the office, let me just say, so I have my phone right here.
have to show you, see, I'm with one hand, so I have trouble with this. All right, so this is where I keep my cards. So if someone comes up to me and that we start talking, my goal when I go to an event is not to collect 20 cards. My goal is probably 2 or 3. Because in the conversation, I want to get to know someone. I don't want to just move from place to place to place. I really want to meet someone. And then when I feel like I've had a nice conversation and it's a person I want to get to know even more, I will say to them, well, do you have a card? I'd like to exchange cards with you. Why do you carry your cards with you? To give them out. Why else? To be known. How else? For some, what? Yes, but you know the other reason you do? If you give your card to someone, it's easier to get their card in return. It's much easier if you're doing an exchange. The other thing is most of the time, a lot of people don't have cards. So what I'll do is I'll still give them my card, and I present my card with showing my name, and I always go, it says Deborah, and I said, but I go by Deb, and I'd put Deborah so you don't call me Debbie. I mean, that's what I tell people, and some people still do it. It irritates me. And then I give them the card, and they may not have one, so I write their information on the back of my other card. So usually I keep cards in my right pocket, and then when I get someone else's card, I put it in my left pocket. That way, I know exactly where the cards are at one time, and when I go back to the office, I will pull out my 2 or 3 cards, not 20, 2 or 3, and I'll put them on my desk, and I know you can have one of those machines that just zaps the information in, there it goes. You don't have to worry about it. I want to put it in, their information, where did I meet them, and what I learned about them. And my database is 30,000 plus. It's not all mine. It belongs to some of our clients. But I can go in there and meet someone, and 8 years later, when I meet them again, I will then email them later and say, I knew that I remembered you. We had met at the Chamber of Commerce event over in the Bridge Building. And they're like, how did you know that? And I'm like, just have a good memory. I have a great database. I have a great database. But it helps to do it. And the other thing that I do, so Beth, where's Beth? Beth. So Beth and I saw each other this morning, and I knew I recognized her name, and we talked. And so I told Beth I want to meet her. I want to get to know her. And I will then take her card, and when I get back to the office, I will put it on my desk. I will put the information in there, and I'm going to keep it sitting in front of my keyboard so that I know that I need to get in touch with her. Because there's a lot of people I want to meet and I don't know, and life is still short, and I want to get a chance to see them. So the cards, I know some people think, why do I need cards anymore? I can just go over to somebody and just zinc it into my, that's not any fun. You won't remember that. Use the cards so you remember. I'm definitely old school, but old school works. Volunteer. How do you get a chance to meet people? Volunteer. And what do you volunteer for? Franklin tomorrow. Franklin tomorrow. Patrick is a good board member, isn't he, and president. Yes, he does a very good job. There are so many things that you can do. Like, I learned how to frame a door by volunteer as a single person. I didn't go with a group. I went by myself to Habitat for Humanity and learned how to frame a door. I'm not sure if you'd want to use that door, but I did learn how to do it. I've gone to different things where I want to make sure that I can help people. What can I do? I'm still trying to think of what do I want in the next part of my life. When I become a volunteer, what do I really want to do? And I'm working on that idea. So if y'all want to toss me ideas later on down the road, yes, I'll take them. Because I want to help people. Because life has been so good to me, it's time to give back. But be a volunteer and help out, because that just makes a difference in the world. Someone told me the other day, it was great, they said, my volunteer work, an architect, my volunteer work gave me the opportunity to do things that my paid job didn't allow me to do yet. And I thought that was so awesome, because she had helped with a couple of schools, design some of the different areas they had that they were adding on to, and she wasn't yet allowed to do that at her work, but they told her at work she could do that. She said, my volunteer job allowed me to do that. So think about that. Things you want to do, volunteer on it. Radiate a host mentality. Oh my gosh. That is one thing you've got to do. I get mistaken all the time at funeral homes that I work at the funeral home.
I know it's because I wear a lot of black, but it's because I try to make sure people are welcome no matter where we are. And they'll come and say, the family will come in and go, where's the food? Oh, and I'll find out these things. Can you tell I'm in charge of at church of our hospitality ministers. I'm in charge of the 50 volunteers that we have. And what I want to make sure we do is when they walk into the church, we are the first line of welcoming. Our job is to make them feel absolutely wonderful. I had a gentleman come up to me one day and he goes, well, I would like to join. And I said, that is awesome. We love having people join our church. That's fantastic. I'm thinking he's coming from another church of Ohio or New Jersey. And he goes, well, what do I need to do? And I said, well, I'm going to sign you up right here and we're going to invite you to our house because we host the newcomer reception. This is fantastic. And he goes, and that's all it takes? And I went, yes. And he goes, and then I'm a Catholic? And I'm like, no. I thought you wanted to just join our church from another Catholic church. So, you have to make sure you're there to make people feel welcome. It's a true story. But what you have to do is, your job is to welcome people. Mindy and them were busy this morning working on getting all this technology done, which I can't do. So I said, I'll take over in the front and I'll just greet people as they come in. I had a blast. I got a chance to meet people firsthand before you guys came in here. I could tell you where the coffee was. I'm really good at telling you where the restrooms are. I mean, think about what you can do by taking on a host mentality. Because too many people come into an event, they come into a room, they stand at the doorway, and they're basically just blocking the door because they're scared to death to meet people. My goal is when I come into an event, I want to meet people in the first 15 seconds. Get me out of that door and come greet people. And that's what you have to do. Make people feel welcome. Thank you for doing name tags, Mindy. Oh my gosh. Even family events for the Varallos, we do name tags. And it's surprising how much more people talk to each other because they remember who the family members are. And we haven't seen them in 30 years. But that's even when we go to Franklin tomorrow for the first time. You had name tags the other day. I was so glad because people started calling me by my name instead of hi. It's so good to see you. And I was like, oh, they're using my name because we had name tags. Just make sure that and whenever you can, do name tags. Make people feel welcome. When you're with groups and there are 3 of you and you see one person who's not with your group, invite them over. They will appreciate you so much. So make sure you invite them over. Another thing is to I'll expand your sphere potential. If you'll see that's down the way. I call it sphere potential. And that's called volunteering. That's called meeting new people. That's getting people together. That is when I call a friend up and I go, listen, there's a couple of people I want to know in Nashville. I don't know them yet. There's a couple of people I want to know in Franklin. I want to meet them and I see that you're connected. Can we get together? So Mindy and I, or somebody else and I, will gather for breakfast. She'll invite someone that I don't know and I'll invite someone she doesn't know. And then the 4 of us get together. And you meet new people that are in comfortable situations. So it's not just a sales pitch. It is really meeting people to get to know them. And I do that all the time. Give thanks. Oh my gosh, when you meet people, when somebody does something good, Tom, you're good about it. I know Ronald's good about it. I mean, Ronald, you were so good about it. I've gotten so many wonderful cards from you. It's just a matter of fact, tell people what they're good at. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Out of the clear blue, I honestly will just go, think about someone and just send them a note. Because I think they do such a good job. And when I see strong people that are doing good things, I want to make sure that they realize that they are very much appreciated. LinkedIn. Now that's the pandemic thing that helped, didn't it? Didn't you expand your LinkedIn? Wow. So in the sense that LinkedIn allowed us to connect with so many other people. And here's another thing that I do with LinkedIn. I do it all the time when there's an announcement in the newspaper. Thank you, Darby. You do a very nice job of announcements. I appreciate it. Who else is here from another print publication or online? Nobody? You two, you and Cassie? Okay, main ones. Tori? So main ones. When there's an announcement in the newspaper, I go to LinkedIn, I look at them and find them. And, even if you don't have premium, you can still send them a one-time message. And you go in and send them a message, and I'll go like when the chancellor came in for Vanderbilt, when the new coach for Vandy came in, I had all these different people as they come in. When someone is recognized as the new CEO for Williamson Medical Center or whatever it may be, they don't know me. but I take the time to go to LinkedIn. I find them. I send them a note that says, "Hi, this is Deb Varallo. You do not know me, but I am excited about having you come into Franklin. I'm excited for your new role. I'm just a volunteer, and I'm happy in helping you out. Anything that I can help you with, just let me know. Thank you." That's it. And that's an automatic request. Mr. Ligon has to go to the doctor. I do know that. He already warned me of that beforehand. Hold on. I'm going to
Get away with anything. Keep talking.
We know each other from Cedar Creek Yacht Club, so he's just awesome. But I have really, almost every time, someone asked me the other day, I was presenting to WKRN Channel 2, I was doing a leadership program for them, and I was talking about LinkedIn, and they said, "Well, how many times do people usually respond to you?" Because when you even put a nice statement in without asking to be connected, it's an automatic request to be connected. And I said 98% of the time people will accept my LinkedIn. That's pretty good. But it's because I didn't sell anything. I didn't push my company on them. It's just like, I'm here. How can I help? Congratulations. It's so glad to see such great leadership to be presented in our town. And when I see women who are recognized, I don't say congratulations on being the first woman. I congratulate them on being a leader. That's what I do. I don't put when Janet Miller in Nashville was recognized for Colliers, I said, "Janet, you're one of the best realtors I know." I didn't say best female realtors, just realtors, best bankers. Think about it. Let's not characterize people so minuscule. Let's just make sure they're broadly recognized. And you say it with sincerity. I don't say it because I'm just putting on the front. I really am excited to see this happen for people. Build meaningful relationships when you meet people. It's the know, like, and trust. I say it's the three-pronged fork: know, like, trust. People have to know you. They have to like you. Not everyone likes me. That's okay. They have to like you, and then they have to trust you. They have to trust you that you can help them out as a friend, as a business person, as a volunteer, as a community leader. My favorite is treat each customer like prospects. Think about that. Treat each customer like prospects. Because don't we treat our prospects with great care? We call them up. We ask them questions. When we meet with them, we find out birthdays and anniversaries and what they like and what they don't like. And then they become a customer. I don't need to know that anymore, do I? Not true. See, that's the problem is, like, the grass is always greener on the other side. The grass is green right here. Take care of your customers, because if you strengthen your customer base, you expand it that much more. Why do you expand it? Patrick, why do you expand it? I'm going to put you on the spot. I know, anything.
They're your best marketing.
That's right. They're you got it. They're your best marketing. They're referral. They're the ones that bring more business to you because you've taken such good care of them. So that's what you need to do. Another thing is, when my daughter was 3 years old, she's 31 now, when she was 3 years old, I was busy. I had an office at the office, and then I had an office at home. And I was at home working. I was typing away on the computer. I was just clicking away, and Kathleen Varallo came up to me and... Are you going to make an announcement?
I'll be Kathleen.
Okay, all right. So I'm just working.
Mom,
Yeah,
Mom,
yeah.
Mom,
How can I help you, honey?
listen.
Yeah, I'm listening.
No. Listen with your eyes.
Listen with your eyes. Mindy, you do that so well. Oh my gosh. Can you say that she's seen me too many times?
Now, you've taught me that, is what I would say, and I've used that story, but yeah, Kathleen, and that's your next phase, because
That's right. I'm a new grandmother as of less than 3 weeks ago. But yeah. So listen with your eyes. I'm going to tell you that's one of the best things that you can think about doing, because when you are not paying attention to someone talking to you, you're not hearing what they're saying. And you're going to have to hear it again later on. Why waste time by not listening? So it's always when somebody comes into your office and they're talking to you, stand up from your desk, look at them, and listen. When you walk into a room and you're a group of people, they're speaking, listen. The same way. I was watching something the other day. I think it was the race, the Music City Grand Prix press conference. And I was kind of frustrated, and I want to work with these drivers. I want to work with them because as one person spoke, the other drivers were not paying any attention to them. I always think that if you've got a panel up here, if they, like with your Breakfast with the Mayors, if you have a panel up here, when they are speaking, whoever is speaking, every panelist should be looking at them. The attention should be drawn to them. It's the same way when you're in meetings. The attention should be drawn to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does that mean? It means that when you meet people, they don't really remember you. When you follow up with an email, okay, there's that person, I think I might know them. And then you send a little letter. Oh, okay, that's that person I met before. And then, like, you do another email. It takes 5 times, at least 5 times, for people to remember me and to remember you. Does that mean you've got to come back to me in 4 more times? Maybe, but it takes 5 times. I do a presentation for the Tennessee Bar Association. I do their leadership presentation every year at their statewide leadership group. And so I've done it for like 18 years. And one day I ran into a guy who was from 2016 class, and he goes, "Oh, I don't remember you." I'm like, okay, I've got to up my game, right? I've got to up my game because he didn't remember me, and I did a presentation. So that means that you've got to work harder on it. So make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go after it. You don't have to go after it hard. You have to strengthen it. Okay, and then follow up, follow up, follow up. Really, it's follow up to make sure that you follow up with people. I have a couple more handouts, Mindy. So if my wonderful friends from Renaissance Bank, Williamson Medical, I'm sorry, Lisa, I could have had you help too. If you'll pass those around. And so why clients leave? Yeah, I've got different ones, same thing, different look. Why clients leave? 1% die. And as I get older, I'm going to up that to 2%. But 1% die. 3% move away. 9% leave for competitive reasons. 15% leave for service dissatisfaction. 72% quit because of attitude indifference. Think about what you're losing. Think about your retail business, your consumer business, your professional service business. If you weren't losing these people, 72% leave because of attitude indifference. That's a lot of people that you've got to keep recruiting and keep making them clients. So make sure that you don't let that happen. Another thing is, let's see if I have this one too. Okay, I'm going to try something. Mindy, what time do we have? I know I've got a...
It's 10:15, got 10, 12 more minutes.
So I'm going to take questions. I'm going to ask questions. How might I help you? How can this group help you? What do you not know and wish you knew? Oh, you had handshakes and bumps and stuff like that.
So what do you think people, I mean, everybody's going out again. How do you tell what people are comfortable with and how to interact with them? What's been your experience so far?
So I experienced that at the Franklin Tomorrow Breakfast with the Mayor, with the mayors, because one of your board members came in. I think she's a board member, and she had a mask on, and she was wearing it inside. And when I went over to like hug her because she's a friend, she's like, and I should have realized the mask. The mask is going to be the biggest teller on anything else. So that's okay. So, they're talking about doing, elbow bumps. I'm seeing air elbow bumps, not even getting near people. Have you noticed that now? Like, I'm coming over to Jack going, "Jack, good to see you." Jack might hug me though, because I've known Jack for a long time. And I've had my shot, so I feel like a dog. I've had my shots. So that's one way, is if they're wearing a mask, then you know they don't want to be that close to you, and they want to keep 6 feet apart. And be very respectful for that. I am very respectful for that. So that's one of the big things right now, Mindy. There are a couple other things that y'all had some questions on. You were debating. I think there were a few things. Give me some questions. Yes?
How's the best way to remember somebody?
Okay, Alan. Alan Sims. The best way to remember someone's name is shake hand. Alan, why don't you come up here? Okay. So Alan and I are just meeting. We're shaking hands, and I'm saying one, and you don't have a name tag on. Let's pretend you don't have one, and I don't have one. Oh, no. Okay. And I'm saying I'm Deb Varallo, and you are?
Alan Sims.
Alan. Well, Alan, twice. Alan, it's very nice to meet you. So that's what we're saying is I'm using his name in the conversation. And then while we're discussing otherwise, I'm also going to mention Alan's name. And then, because I really want to make sure that I remember. And then if I like you and I trust you, then I'll exchange cards with you. Okay, and then when he hands you his card, look at his card and say his full name. That will help also. Thank you, Alan. The other thing is to help and remember is that if you can't remember their name, their first name, but you see them, so we're going to say, Diane, you come up here. I've known Diane for a long time. Thank you for being a host again. So I haven't seen her in a while and I can't remember her name. I go, I've forgotten your full name. See, I didn't even remember her first name, right? But I've forgotten her full name. And when you say, no, what is your full name? Then you would give it to
Diane LeBlanc.
Yeah, so I get to hear the whole thing. Thank you, Diane. I'm going to borrow, wait, you're, okay, Harrison. Okay, I'm going to borrow, this is an example, okay? So I am meeting Harrison for the first time, or the third time, or the fifth time, shaking hands with him. Harrison, I want you to squeeze my hand as hard as you can. No, I'm serious. Go ahead, squeeze it. Oh, okay. Are you really? Okay. No, wait, no. All right, are you squeezing my hand as hard as you can? Okay, everybody stand up and get a partner. Stand up, turn around, get a partner. No. All right, now listen. Listen. So what I want you to do is make sure that you've got it right in the middle. Get it here so that when he squeezes as hard as he can, it doesn't hurt. So do that. Make sure that you've cupped it in tight. Thank you. Okay, be seated. Be seated. Did it work? Jim, did it work? All right, so did you notice that they can squeeze as hard as they want and it doesn't hurt? And then if you're wearing a ring, that it doesn't hurt because they can squeeze and it doesn't make a difference. And you're given a great handshake. I always say give a strong handshake. The other thing as you're standing up, it reminds me of is when you go to events, you've got to decide are you going to eat or drink. You can't do both because you're trying to maneuver, drinks. Here's my plate and here's my cup. How can you greet if you can't shake hands if you're doing both? So decide if either eat first, drink first, but make sure you're only doing one of those things. Your hand needs to be free to greet, to have a handshake, to meet someone. Jim.
When I see somebody that I think I should know, I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Jim Ryan, hoping that they'll get the cue to introduce themselves. It doesn't always work, but sometimes.
That is one of the best ways to do it is if you give your name first, full name, they're going to go, I know you, Jim, my name, and sometimes they won't tell you. I was at a funeral home one day, and I was standing there, and the guy came up to me, and he's one of my, older brother's friends, and he goes, you don't remember my name, do you? And I wanted to shoot him. And I didn't, but I sat there, and I stood for 20 seconds, and I came up with the name. But it irritates me. People shouldn't be that way. They should be willing to give the name without any issues. My husband, how I help him with it, he can never remember names. Never. And he's an awesome individual. But we'll go to an event, and he'll go, oh, I should know that guy. So what I do is I straddle over there. I go to them, and I go, hi, I don't think you know me. I'm Deb Varallo. And then Tony gives me his name, and then I straddle back over to my husband. I do that all the time for my husband, believe me. on it. But that's one of the things is the names are very important. And before this event happened, I asked Mindy to send me a list of those that had signed up already because I wanted to know who's going to be here. So when I saw Mr. Ligon at Cedar Creek Yacht Club this week, and I said, Mr. Ligon, you're going to be at this event on Monday. And he goes, well, I have this doctor's appointment. So I knew, and I think he appreciated that I knew, and I think it also got him to show up early anyway, because he thought, Deb knows I'm supposed to be there. So, yeah, okay. I think we're about finished. I want to try, yes, Jack.
Let me lose a personal example. Just make sure they understand what you're saying. I have grandkids, and for years, well, not years, for months, I'd tell them, go forth and do good. And after I did that several times, one of my grandchildren said, well, why do I have to go forth? Why can't I go first?
Oh, my God.
So that reminds me of a story. So, and I've used it in other things. We used to live on Old Hickory Lake, and we'd go visit all our friends on Old Hickory Lake. And one day, one of the attorneys, friends of ours from Nashville, came to the lake, and we were out there just roaming around on the sea-doos. And one of his son, 11 years old, he said to the son, said, Dad, I want to go on the sea-doo. I want to go on the sea-doo. And his father said, life jacket and don't leave the cove. And so the son got his life jacket on. He got on the sea-doo. He had a friend with him. They rode around in the cove. And then all of a sudden, he went out of the cove, across the channel, to the other side to Hendersonville, to Sumner County. And the father screaming and hollering and going, what? I told him not to do it. And they had to go get him. And then they brought him back, and he took him, and he grabbed him, and he said, we're going home, and he took him home because he was so mad. And the next day we said, well, Terry, how is your son doing? He said, I came home, and I knew he was going to apologize because I made him go up to his room, and he couldn't have dinner. I would not allow him to come down until he apologized. And he finally came down, and he said, I knew he was going to apologize. And he came down, and he sat in my lap, and he looked at his dad, and Terry's going, he's going to apologize. And his son looked at him and said, Dad, what's a cove? Okay, I think we're about finished. Can we try one more thing?
Yeah.
All right, and before you leave, I do have cards. I have these wonderful book cards that I got for you guys. Just so you know that I have treat your clients like prospects all the time. On the back it has people you want to know. Write down people you want to know and find the connection. Places to be, things to do, people to thank, and then more notes. So everyone will get these cards. If you fill this out and complete it, and you accomplish a lot, take a copy of it, send it to me, and I'll send you a box of Girl Scout cookies. The first person to legitimately do that. Mindy, we got time for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hold the mic while she explains it. It's an activity, guys.
It is, and we're going to have trouble with it because it's kind of hard to do. I want this web to be pulled all the way around the whole room. And you got to do
We
it.
may have to do it in the middle. Robert's going to back up.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
if you're
Let's
up
see if you
here
can
in
do
the
it or
front,
not. Okay. Let's see if you can do it. I want to see if you can do it.
somebody come here. We got to figure out what the front. Don't pull too fast.
Untwist it.
Oh, look, here's a bunch. Somebody, oh, good, we're
We
going.
need help. We need help.
Can you see the, there's the mic.
All right. Do we have it? All right. Let me see. Are y'all doing it? Let me see. Okay. All right. Is everybody connected? No. Oh, Beth's not connected yet. We got everybody connected?
Right there in the middle.
Oh. So,
Hold this together.
so this is our web of connections. So think about it. It's not easy to always you're connected to another person, and it takes effort. But by using your friends and relationships and connections, we can all be connected. Thank y'all very much. That's okay.
Oh, I've got the mic back now, sort of, yay. Sorry about that web. If you're covered in the web, sorry about that. What a great program. Please show Deb our appreciation for her being here today. As usual, Great job, Deb. If you don't already know how to find Franklin Tomorrow on social media, here are our social media channels, and we're very active on Facebook as well as Instagram, so please follow us on those. Looking for ways to support Franklin Tomorrow? Show your civic pride with a historic Franklin license plate. I heard Mayor Rogers Anderson say recently that in 2022, the entire state of Tennessee will get a new license plate. If you have one of those boring old license plates on the back of your car, you're going to have to get a new car tag. That means you're either going to have to pick it up or they're going to have to mail it to you. But if you have a specialty tag, such as the historic Franklin license plate, you will not have to go and endure that difficult process there. As you leave, our dip jar is set up on the table if you want to support us, but all donations to Franklin Tomorrow are tax deductible. And then we want to support our nonprofit partners. Our mission is to engage the community, foster collaboration, and then advocate for a shared vision for the future of Franklin. So here are some community events coming up. Who's already been to the fair? Great. Friends of Franklin Parks Raise the Roofs is coming up August 21st. August 27th through 28th is the Great Americana Barbecue Festival. Both of those events are at Harlansdale. The Mercy Franklin Classic on Labor Day. Yay, Cindy. Woo! Yay, Dot. Yay. And then Frank Talks. Our next Frank Talks will be September 13th. And I'm going to let you know, I believe our next Frank Talks we have been trying to see about going back to Columbia State. And we're looking at going to Columbia State, the community room there, on September 13th. So we'll stay in touch with you, but follow us on Facebook, and if you haven't, we'll add you today to our email list so that you receive our emails that come out a couple times a month. But follow us on Facebook, social media, and thanks for being here, and I hope you made a connection this morning. Thanks. Have a great day.